welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to continue looking at the Superwomen in STEM series. So in this one, we're going to be looking at Women Scientists in Astronomy and Space by, again, Nancy Dickmann, who did, let's see, Nancy Dickmann did our life sciences as well. So she's doing this one. In fact, she's doing our this medicine one as well. So we're going to be looking at this book. So again, it talks about looking into the stars. I was big into space exploration. Again, I just don't have the math skills, and I wish I had the time to do it. So, another mispronouncing. This one was from China. So the first one we're talking about is Wang Zai. I'm mispronouncing this. She was born in 1769 in Anhui province in China. She was a scholar and a poet, and she was self-taught because it was the 1700s and even in China. So she was the best known for her works on eclipse and the movement of planets and for her beautiful poetry. So she was a writer. So she was expected to be a wife and mother. That's just kind of what they expected of her. Doesn't matter what side of the planet you're on. Women were expected to be wives and mothers. So, but her father taught her, her grandfather taught her astronomy, her grandmother taught her poetry, her father taught her other subjects such as medicine, geography, and math. The family traveled a lot within China, so she was definitely of the upper class. So that's probably the way she was able to do this. She read different mathematicians. No, that is not her. She married at 25. He came from an intellectual family. He actually supported her learning and her work. So she was demonstrating eclipses and all sorts of things. They probably do not have pictures of her. So she died in 1797 at 29. She asked her husband to pass her writings on to her good friend, Quang Lang. This included her poetry and her scientific writings. Quang Lang gave them to her nephew, a famous scholar. He wrote a bunch of her and published her works. So she was recognized as one of the greatest women scholars in China, and in 2004, a crater on the planet Venus was named after her. So, all right, moving on to Caroline Herschel. Okay, another German. I am in fact German, but I don't speak German. So she was born in 1750 in Hanover. She was a musician and astronomer, and she was another one who was self-taught. So she was famous for discovering Uranus. However, her sister Caroline made many of her own so that she was the astronomer William Herschel was famous for discovering Uranus. However, his sister, so this is who she is, Caroline, made many more of her own groundbreaking discoveries. So her father was military. She was very short, apparently. So let's see. Uranus it looked like they both did it. Uranus was the first planet discovered discovered with a telescope. Obviously, it's very, very far away. So her brother was 11 years older than her. She had an interest in music as well. Her brother was frustrated with the quality of telescopes, so he began making his own. His sister helped him grind the lenses for the telescopes and made notes for her brother's observatories. And he made his big discovery, the planet Uranus, and was awarded named the King's Astronomer. So she began making her own discoveries. So, and looking at different stars, let's see. She was recognized as a scholar in her own right. She discovered 8 comets and 14 nebula. So she also corrected existing star catalog, adding hundreds of stars that had not been included in the original version. So she did a lot of stuff. Moving on to Maria Mitchell. So Maria Mitchell was born in 1818 in Nantucket, Massachusetts. She was a professor and astronomer. She went to Cyrus Pierce's School for Young Ladies. Again, she was born in 1818. surprised she was not self-taught. She was a teacher and librarian, but she also was a talented astronomer and a pioneer for women's rights. So she was a Quaker, which is not surprising. They were big on education at the time. So she read books on math and astronomy. She used telescopes and scanned the skies. So she worked on comics. She began teaching became a teaching assistant at 16. Again, pretty common for the time period. So, and then eventually she became a professor. She went to England. She studied astronomy. She was big into women's rights. So she's recognized as an inspiring teacher and a groundbreaking astronomer. So, moving on to Henrietta Swan Leavitt. She was born in 1868 in Lancaster, Massachusetts. She was an astronomer, and she went to Radcliffe. Radcliffe is another one of the Seven Sisters. I've mentioned this in other videos. Maybe I should do a video on the Seven Sisters. I think I did a report on it once when I was in college, community college. They got women's rights, but they were 7 of the elite women's schools. Most of them are still open. Smith is still female only. I'm pretty sure Radcliffe is connected to Harvard. It might be, it was Harvard or Yale. A lot of them have intermixed. Smith is still on its own. Hollyhock, I think, has closed down. One of my nieces went to Smith, which is still an all-girls school. So let's see. She was very sick all the time. Let's see, what did she do? She, about 100 years ago, as a researcher published a paper about the stars that changed in brightness. Her breakthroughs would change astronomy forever. So that's what it says. So she was she worked as a human computer, which was common. This was women doing a lot of mathematical works. So they were called computers before computers existed. This is including women like Mary Jackson and Dorothea Vaughan, who are mentioned in the movie. Still, I covered these. I covered the African American human computers that were worked for in Langley Laboratory. Hidden pictures? Oh no. Eventually that will come to me, probably when I finish doing these videos. So, but moving on. So she basically, let's see what she did. Trying to figure out exactly what she did here, because I haven't read this one. She figured out how far away some of the stars were. She was denied recognition because female at Harvard, so that's where Radcliffe connected to. It was in fact Harvard, not Yale. So I know it was one of the two. So that's what she did. Again, very interesting woman. This is a picture of her, but again, born before her time. All right, now we have a woman born a little bit later, Jocelyn Bell Burnell. She was born in Belfast, Northern Ireland in 1943. She was an astronomer. She went to the University of Glasgow and the University of Cambridge. So she was, Jocelyn Bell discovered a whole new type of star called the pulsar. So that's what she did. And now this is actually a telescope. It's it collects radio signals and deep into space. So that's what she did. She worked with radio telescopes. In the United States, we have the Very Big Array. That's one of our radio telescopes. There's lots of radio telescopes. And yes, that is in fact its name. It's in New Mexico. If you've ever seen the movie Contact, that's where that was. So they were filming at the Very Big Array, because scientists are not that creative. But thanks. So, and she discovered pulsars. So this is her more modern picture. So again, and then we're going to move on to somebody else that me and my daughter have been reading out a bit about, and I believe they're making a movie about her. soon. Sally Ride. So she was born in 1951 in Los Angeles. She was a physicist and an astronaut. She went to Stanford University, but again, she was born in 51, so this was a little bit easier. She was one of the first women she was the first woman astronaut. So that's who Sally Ride was. So she became an astronaut. That is Sally Ride there, obviously. So she rode Space Shuttle Challenger on June 18th, 1983, the year before I was born. So, and you have various different pictures of her and her work. And she died in 2012 at the age of 61. So, and then again, we have a timeline here that ends with the Sally Ride being awarded of the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2013 after she died. And then it talks about a few other different women in astronomy and space. So that is the end of this book. And I have one more to cover. So I really do enjoy this series. So I have the Women in Medicine to cover next. Check out the rest of it. Check out the rest of the channel. Leave a positive comment if you have one. I am going to, by the time you guys hopefully see this, the Box for Children will be done. And crossing fingers, I get back to the backlog of the media. The media is harder to cover because I do not, skimming through these books is easy. Getting through various different television shows like Murder, She Wrote and stuff is a little bit on the harder side for me to get done at this moment. So, but we will get there. And then I'll be covering Beauty and the Beast, which hopefully will be posted. I'm going to be doing the deep dive into that. I am looking forward to getting that done. Thankfully, in August, my daughter is going to be doing twice a week of a full-day school program. So that is a drop-off program. So, and then we will be doing homeschooling and a bunch of other stuff. So, but hopefully I will have more time to get my videos done. So, thank you. Like and subscribe again, and leave a positive comment if you have one, and check out the rest of the channel. Thank you.